Welcome in the latest episode of the Betting the Pit Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real_G Warner. Tonight, we are going through England, Spain, Italy, France, and Germany, trying to find some best bets for this weekend. We are 18, 16, and 253% so far year to date on our best bets, and we will do our best to find some winners. We'll nominate one favorite play from each of the countries, mash it all together for 1 minute or less. Real at the Real_G Warner on Instagram, YouTube short at the Real_G Warner on YouTube, and of course, we will have full length episodes on YouTube and on the Instagram. It will be shorter. Clearly not, because you can't do long ones, but on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, search Betting the Pitch. We also have a special treat for you all, a college basketball episode coming out. The Need for Seeds college basketball podcast, as always, on Fridays, going through the Saturday card. We have a special guest, so get ready for that. Joseph Dollar, thank you for coming in. I've been waiting for this all week. So many overs loading. Yes, of course. And we will talk about that and probably every game we get to. Longtime Patreon subscriber Joseph Dollar, thank you for coming in, and thank you for always being there, supportive through the ups and downs, the peaks and the valleys. And let's get to another peak. So we're going to start with the English Premier League because that's where the money is, as soon as I can navigate there. I don't know where I lost everything. I just had it, I swear. We'll start in England, because that's what we do on this episode, podcast, all those sort of things. We'll start with Aston Villa. They're hosting Leeds. This is an early matchup, but not as early as the usually 6:30 local time start here in Dallas, Texas. Instead, it is 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So, God forbid we might be able to sleep in, except all the other leagues. We will not be able to, actually. So I feel like, so we'll start. So Leeds are a half a goal underdog right now on the road at Aston Villa. Villa coming off a bye in the Europa League. I feel like they're not getting a lot of respect in this number, which is a little bit surprising. But here we are, and we'll figure out why that's the case. So Aston Villa, I mean, it's pretty Korsakoff's. I'll get healthy eventually, maybe. I just don't know that Aston Villa, I mean, have really gotten much respect lately. They closed, I think, a pick'em in their last matchup, FA Cup, over this weekend at home. That to me is I guess, the market kind of turning its back on Aston Villa, not really believing in what the heck is their manager's name? And Unai Emery. I don't understand what he's done to all of a sudden have no one believe in him anymore. So for me, Leeds look too cheap. Only half a goal underdogs, look very juiced at the moment, probably climbing to 3/4 before kickoff, but that's not even guaranteed. Total of 2.5, I think, reflects Leeds' improved defense, and I think we always expect Unai Emery's sides to be defensive and to be coherent in that category. So for me, I think only way I could lean to Joe Dollar's, probably his favorite thing, just kidding, definitely not, is under 2.5, which is also juiced very heavily to over. 16-cent lines at Bet Online for English Premier League. So if you're not betting Premier League there, hit me up at the Real_G Warner. I'll give you a link either to Bet Online if you haven't been there, or sportsbetting.ag, their sister site with the same lines. Either one, great VIP programs, and hit me up at the Real_G Warner across any social media platform, and I'll get you set up over there. Move next to Chelsea and Burnley. Currently, Chelsea 1 3/4 goal favorites at home. All the juice on the home team, 22 cents that is. So we're looking towards 2. Total this one's 3 1/4, and it's juiced 2 cents more to the over, which reflects, I think, I guess a discrepancy between these two sides, but I'm not really sure. It's 2 goals wide. Burnley just can't score goals, and that's their biggest issue. For me, the total's above 3, which much to longtime Patreon subscriber Joe Dollar, he probably doesn't love that, but it's a fact. And as you cross from across 3 as a key number in, of course, the NFL in the United States, but also I think in soccer totals, under 3 1/4 looks interesting to me, though certainly Chelsea have been able to kind of name their score in the past. Move next to the same big window of matches. We'll go to Brentford hosting Brighton. Currently, Brentford quarter goal favorites at home right now. All the juice is on the home team. I made this half of a goal, so it's probably heading that direction. Total this one is 2 3/4, juice all the way to under. And that reflects to me a Brighton offense that's been better than expected this season. Brentford have been so good at home, though. So I don't really think I want much to do with Brighton because I think Brentford have a very good chance of winning this matchup. I think total is about what I made it. I made it 2.79464, so pretty close to the 2 3/4 here. Though it's very juiced to under. I guess if it falls to 2.5, then maybe I like the over on the Joseph Dollar side of things. We'll move now to 11:30 Central Time starting kickoff time, and that is West Ham hosting Bournemouth in a battle of one team that's trying to save itself, one team that's trying to save the direction of its club. Currently, West Ham, I pick them right now with all the juice, plus 101 on the Bournemouth side. Total is three in this one, juiced a little bit more to over. And for me, I don't know that. I mean, Bournemouth have shipped goals for a long time. They've scored plenty themselves. Then Antoine Semenyo left for Manchester City, not before a great stoppage time winner, right in his last matchup, which was cool, or last match day as a cherry. But to me, West Ham's going to play a low scoring game, and I feel like Bournemouth. I mean, the hard part is they just haven't. They've seen so many goals in their matches that's really hard to look at under. It's smaller. My number's smaller than this number here. It looks like juice is more towards over. I mean, it's hard. It's kind of one of those hold your nose totals to play it under. But at this point, I'm still pretty interested in it, and I do like the home. I guess slight favorite at Pick'em. I like the idea that if they go out there and get a result, just draw. Worst you can do is push, and if they win, you get paid your full bet. Bournemouth haven't looked that great. West Ham have obviously looked bad all season, or fighting relegation, all this sort of stuff. But there is some, I think, light at the end of the tunnel. We'll see if it's a train. It's the last matchup, the latest of the Saturday card in England. We have Manchester City, a one-goal favorite with almost all the juice at home to Newcastle. Total this one is it's 3.25, juiced very heavily to over. And I think that reflects how Manchester City is back to being what they were in the past. And Newcastle having to play an extra match midweek in Champions League, trying to get their way through the next round. That zapping of legs, plus being pretty weak away from home in all competitions, especially the Premier League, is concerning. I do like the push on one. I think I'm interested there. Totals actually a little bit lower than I made it, so lean to over if anything. To Sunday, we'll start with Crystal Palace. They are at home for Wolves, who played an extra match midweek, which is not great for their stamina. Spread is three-quarters of goal favorites. Are Crystal Palace at home with all the juice. Totals 2.5, and it's juiced slightly more to under. And a lot has been made of Oliver Glasner not getting what he wanted in terms of transfer stuff, but we kind of knew that was going to happen. Maybe he didn't, or maybe he just wanted to be loud about it and wanted to make his name out there in the media as much as possible so we can take a Manchester United job. We'll see. But Wolves have been fighting and honestly have been, to me, a little bit better than Crystal Palace have been for a while. Maybe not in getting wins, but certainly based on expectations, which are about as low as possible for the worst team in England football history, that are Wolves, or at least the worst so far this season. Took them so long to win. With that said, I think under 2.5 is interesting to me. Wolves have shown some offense of late, but I think they get dragged into a game that's really, really low scoring. Crystal Palace can't really score much themselves. Their defense has been better, and that's why I lean in that matchup. Moving to still at Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Time. We got a bunch of matches, probably because there's no early one this weekend, but we have Sunderland, a pick'em right now at home to Fulham. Very curious on the Granit Xhaka injury status. Total this one's 2.25. It's used pretty heavily to over right now. Sunderland are great at home, and I think they deserve to be looked at as a potential play, especially when home result is at worst a push, and at best a win. Fulham's great, and certainly I think better than where they sit in the table every year, but they struggle with results at times. I think on the road going to face the Black Cats, I think that's going to be a hard thing to do. Still at 8 a.m., Nottingham Forest coming off of their Europa League midweek. They are half a goal underdogs at home to Liverpool. Total in this one is 2.75, and it's very juiced on the Liverpool side of things, which shouldn't be a surprise. They had to play, or didn't have to play Champions League midweek. Nottingham Forest did have to play Europa League, so that's not great for them rest-wise. It spreads a little bit bigger than I made it. We'll see if it climbs to 3/4 of a goal, because that would be very much enjoyable. Total is 2.75 in this one, just a little bit more to over. I'd like to see this climb to 3. I think at 3 is probably the lowest I'll look at playing it. Moving next to Tottenham, they're one-goal underdogs at home to Arsenal with a new manager and a new, hopefully, lease on life, or at least style of play, potentially. Total this one's 2.75, she's all the way to under, and that reflects Arsenal dominating a game. I don't know necessarily will, and I don't know how conservative Tottenham will be, because they've been about the most conservative team despite the big budget so far this season, and that's what got Thomas Frank sacked. And yes, so one-goal underdog at home in a derby is of course very interesting. Based on variance, the number I made it, I'm of course very interested, but I don't know if there's enough for me there, I must say. So I think at this point for me, I'm probably lean into home underdog and under, and we'll see if we can get a three. Doesn't look very likely though. To Monday, we have Everton hosting Manchester United. Currently, Everton a half a goal underdog at home to the suddenly resurgent Manchester United. Juice is split both ways, so no real telling on where that one will go. Total is 2 and 3/4, juiced more to the over. And I think Everton are going to play and dictate this game. Forgive me for not trusting what we've seen from Manchester United so far under caretaker manager. It was brilliant for them to get rid of Ruben Amorim. It just took them what uh, what felt like 6 months too long to make that decision. Well, here we are. I think Everton as a home underdog look interesting, and they play low scoring games, and I think home dog and under look very, very interesting in that matchup. Now, as for a best bet in the English Premier League this weekend, let's go with Crystal Palace Wolves under 2.5 goals. I think that's the most interesting. Now we'll move to Spain. Let's see if we can get over there as quickly as we possibly can. Wolves, Crystal Palace under 2.5. My biggest interest in England. We'll move now to Spain, and we'll start in the early matchup on Saturday. It's Real Sociedad hosting Real Oviedo. Battle of the Reals. You could pick one of them to win. I bet Real will win this matchup, but then again, if they draw, that ruins everything. We'll start. So Oviedo, a 1 goal underdog. Looks like they've been getting a bet just 2 cents more than I've been tracking it so far. Total's been bet a little bit to under, and I think that reflects the Real Sociedad team that have been playing really, really well, and an Oviedo side that have not scored goals all season. Oviedo know that they have, and they've been competitive, but they know they can't outscore anybody, so they're going to do everything they can to keep this as low scoring as possible. We'll see if that actually happens. Moving next to Rayo Vallecano. That is not actually the next matchup. What the heck happened there? Let's go to Real Betis. Oh, no, sorry. Yes. What am I saying? Real Betis is at home for Rayo Vallecano. That's what I meant. Right now, Betis half a goal favorite at home right now. A little bit more juice on the home team, up 2 cents from when I've been tracking it. Total is 2.5, and it's just even both ways, minus 110. So no real indicator there. I haven't seen any movement to the total just yet. Rayo are not a good goal scoring team, so half a goal underdog on the road. A team that can score goals is a concern. Total feels about where I made it though. Rayo Vallecano, a much bigger underdog, or excuse me, much smaller underdog than expected. So that tells me the market doesn't believe a lot of goals come here. So under 2.5 looks very interesting to me. Moving next to Osasuna hosting Real Madrid. Currently Osasuna a 3/4 goal underdog at home with almost all the juice on Real Madrid, with some money coming in on Real so far this week. Totals at 2 and 3/4, a little bit of money bet towards under. I don't think there's enough here for me in either of these kind of directions. I think I want a full goal of insurance from Osasuna at least, which I don't think we'll get. And I think I want a three on the total, which I'm not really sure we'll get either. To the nightcap, Espanyol visits Atletico Madrid. Currently, Atleti a 1 goal favorite with almost all the juice. Though some Espanyol money has been hitting 6 cents of change so far since I've been tracking it. Totals in this one is 2.5, and it's juiced a little bit more to the under now than it was before. It juice is split both ways, though, minus 110. And I really like what Espanyol have done, especially away from home. I like the full goal of insurance. I like that Atletico Madrid played Champions League midweek. We'll see where this number ends up pushing toward, but I think Espanyol play a really competitive game. Dominated Barcelona about a month ago now, maybe 2 months ago now, but didn't get much from it. And I feel like a win there would have done a lot to change the opinion of the marketplace. And I think they still deserve the benefit of the doubt. Moving to Sunday, we'll start with Getafe hosting Sevilla. Currently, Getafe quarter goal favorites right now, with all the juice on Sevilla away, probably because Getafe have no idea how to score goals. Totals 1 3/4 in this one. That reflects exactly that. I would love to play under two here. I don't think we'll get a two of reasonable value price, all these sort of things. So it's very juiced over to 1 3/4 right now. I'll be keeping my eyes out for it. Barcelona then hosts Levante. Currently, Barca a 2 3/4 goal favorite, which is climbing from, or has climbed from 2.5. Total in this one is 4, and it is juiced very heavily to over. So we're expecting goals. I don't know that I really trust that from a Levante matchup. I mean, their defense hasn't been great. I don't know that I trust them to score much. So that big total looks pretty big, but also if this gets ugly, you never really know how much. One of the worst and promoted sides from England, or excuse me, from Spain, how much they'll fight. Moving next to Celta de Vigo, they are hosting Mallorca. Currently, Mallorca a half a goal underdog right now. All the juice on Celta at home, coming off of Europa League midweek. Total in this one's 2 1/4, juice more to the under slightly, and I lean that under because Mallorca really plays dead, nothing, dead rubber, try to score no goal type of games. I think on the road, especially, they go for that. And I don't know that Celta de Vigo off of a potential big match midweek that was important for them to getting advanced through to the next round of the Europa League and the money that's very important that comes with it. So I think we see potentially definitely some rotation is seen, and I think they might fall into Mallorca trap. Moving to Sunday night, matchup, we have Villarreal hosting Valencia, a Valencian derby. Currently, Villarreal, a three-quarter goal favorite. Juice split both ways at minus 110. Total is two and three quarters. Juice all the way to under. Extremely more juice than it was even earlier when I saw it. So some money's coming on under. I think that reflects how Valencia play their football matches. And I think there's a lot of disbelief in Villarreal, considering how well they've done in La Liga, but we're so bad in Champions League. Got knocked out of the Copa del Rey really early, and I think there's some chickens that need to come home to roost. To Monday, Alaves hosts Girona. Currently, Alaves quarter goal favorites right now with more juice on the Girona side. Total in this one is two, juice very heavily to over. I'll be waiting to see if this total climbs higher. And I really like Girona because I think Alaves' offense has pretty much shown it does not exist. Girona playing a lot better since relegation concerns early in the season. They spent some money, brought in some players, and that's something that I think is very valuable to think of as we get down later in the season. For my best bet in Spain, I'll nominate the Celta Vigo Mallorca under two and a quarter goals. I would love to get a two on Getafe hosting Sevilla. I just don't think we'll get it. So we'll now move to the Italian Serie A, and that's where we're going for the next matchup. Let's go straight over. I guess keep going east from Spain as we've gone south from England. We'll start in Torino with Juventus, a quarter goal favorite to Como right now. All the juice on Juve, which has changed a little bit. It's basically oscillating between half of a goal and quarter of a goal favorites are Juve at home. They're coming off of Champions League midweek. That's tough. Como at home. It should be easier considering they're a second year team. No real sophomore slump, and one that the marketplace has loved this entire time. Spread is really tiny, but also I've learned in Serie A to respect the over bet underdog, and I think that's one that might be here, especially because a draw still wins you a bet, even though you'd want a full bet if it climbs to that half of a goal. I think it will get there. We'll see. Total's lower than I made it. Also reflects lower scoring game, which I think fits the underdog. And we'll see if Juve can continue to perform because the market has loved them until this matchup. Moving next to Lecce, hosting Inter Milan. Currently, Lecce, a one goal underdog at home with a more juice on the favorite after falling from one and a quarter. Total is two and this quarter in this one, and it's just evenly minus 110 both ways. We've seen some under money come in, also some money betting Lecce, which does correlate, though Lecce I don't think will score much. So that's, I think, all still pointing to under as a decent idea. That's a lot lower than I made it. Cagliari then hosts Lazio. Currently Cagliari, quarter goal underdogs at home with more juice. Total in this one is two, juiced all the way to the over. And we've seen some under money coming in as plus 106. The last time I looked, now plus 102. Cagliari are a great home team. Lazio have not been the dominant team in the past. I think as a favorite, I'd like to be against them. So I like the home team and I like under. To Sunday, we'll start with the 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern Time matchup. Genoa hosting Torino. It's lunchtime in Italia. Currently, Genoa, a quarter goal favorite right now with a little bit more juice on the home team. Total in this one is two and a quarter. She's very heavily to under, and that certainly reflects the lack of goals from Torino. Sometimes the lack of defense is a concern, but Genoa, certainly not goal merchants themselves. I like under in that matchup. Moving next to Atalanta hosting Napoli in one of the bigger matchups of the weekend. Napoli, pretty big favorite. Excuse me, they're an underdog, quarter goal underdog, but minus 130 right now at Bet Online. So that's probably pick them throughout the marketplace. I lean to Atalanta at that price. We'll see if that ends up sticking or kind of where this number ends up settling, but that's definitely where I lean for now. Napoli have been getting bet against by a lot of the Italian market for a while, and I've certainly taken notice. Total is a little bit lower than I made it, but that reflects the struggles that Napoli have had so far this season. For the next matchup, let's go to AC Milan hosting Parma. Currently, Milan, a 1.5 goal favorite. All the juice on Parma away. Total in this one's 2.5, and it's juiced more, incredibly more, to over. Probably climbing it towards two and three quarters. I think Parma have been really competitive defensively. They haven't really been able to score goals, and I think that's reflected in the total being much lower than I made it. Spread's about the same, so not a lot of belief in the Parma offense. Moving to the Sunday nightcap, we'll start with Roma hosting Cremonese. Roma are a 1.25 goal favorite. All the juice on the home team, likely climbing to 1.5, despite no goals being scored by Roma relatively so far this season. Cremonese have been competitive. Total 2.5 right here, just almost all the way to over. I lean that way in that nightcap on Sunday. To Monday, we have two matches. Pisa are visiting Fiorentina. Currently, I think it's a Tuscan derby, potentially, if you want to call it that. Though Pisa, I haven't seen Serie A in a long time, so probably not on Fiorentina's radar, though it should be. they should be because Fiorentina have been fighting relegation all season. Total in this one, so the side is three quarters, total is two and three quarters, and I think we see Pisa going in knowing they can't really score with them, though Fiorentina have not been great this season. I feel like I probably want a full goal of insurance to back Pisa. We don't have that yet, so probably under two and three quarters is my biggest interest in that matchup. To the late night game, Monday Night Football in Italia. Bologna, half a goal favorite right now, with almost all the juice at home to Udinese. Total this was two and a quarter, and it's juice more to over. Bologna have been really good, and so I don't really know if I want to fade them. They had a little bit of a lull from playing a billion matches in a row, losing a lot of center backs and not really having much there. With all that said, Udinese are a decent underdog, but I feel like the number is not really where I want it to be, so probably not much for me in that one. I guess lean to Udinese if they climb to a bigger underdog. As for my best bet from Italy, nominee for this episode, let's go with Atalanta at home as a pick'em to Napoli, as that number is available throughout the marketplace. We'll now go to Ligue 1 in France and then get the German Bundesliga, get some nominees for the best bets from those two countries that are remaining, and then we will find a way to find a winner on this episode. Let's try our best. Let's go to Italia. Nope, we're just there. Let's go to Ligue 1 in France. And we'll start on Saturday with Lens hosting Monaco. Currently, Lens, one of the biggest surprises across all of Europe, been awesome so far this season. They're three-quarter goal favorites right now. Juice split both ways, minus 110. And for some money, he's coming to Monaco despite disastrous season so far. Monaco are a bigger underdog than I made them. They deserve to be. I think I need a full goal insurance to play, especially against Essong et al., the probably toughest crowd in all of Europe. Moving next to Toulouse, hosting FC Paris. Currently, Toulouse, a half a goal favorite right now, a little bit more juice on the Parisians, not the Paris Saint-Germain version. Total is two and three quarters, or excuse me, 2.25, two and a single quarter. More juice to the under here. And I don't know that I want much to do with this one. I love K-Ball coming back from the AFCON and expect there to be a little bit of firepower on the Paris side, but I don't really like them as a team so far. I feel like they've been overvalued all season, so probably not a lot for me there. I guess maybe lean to the home team, if any, or excuse me, to the road team, if anything, as a big underdog, but it probably won't be enough for me to get involved. To the nightcap on Saturday, PSG hosting Metz. PSG, a two and a quarter goal favorite, with more of the juice right now. Was two and a half earlier, but some money is coming on Metz somehow. Total in this one is three and a half. She's all the way to over. And I don't think there's much for me here. So let's move to Sunday. We have Angers hosting Rennes. Currently, Angers a quarter goal underdog at home with all the juice, minus 127 currently. Total is two and a half, and it's just a little bit more to the over. Rennes have been really good defensively. I like them, trust them, all those sort of things. Angers, though, have been really competitive as well. So I like them as a home team. I think they make this hard on Rennes, and I don't think they deserve to be home underdogs. And I like the total under because I think that both these teams are good defensively. Moving next to Nice hosting Lorient. Currently, Nice, a quarter goal favorite. All the juice on the home team. Total in this one is two and a half, and it's just pretty heavily to over. Sign me up for Lorient as they've been playing much better this season. I want to be against Nice as much as possible, even if they're not at home, because who knows if that home crowd is actually cheering for them or whistling them the whole time. Angers then hosts Lille in the same 10:15 Central Time, 11:15 Eastern Time window of matches. Angers, a half a goal underdog at home, a little bit more juice. 2 cents that is. Total is two and a quarter, and it's used very heavily to over. Lille can score goals, but they are coming off of Europa League midweek. Angers got to rest. They've had some uneven performances as of late, always lean under in Angers matches, but the total again is lower than I expected. Nantes then hosts Le Havre, currently Nantes a quarter goal favorite, which is surprising. I feel like they're never favorites. Le Havre have spent some money in the transfer window, which does interest me a lot. I think we see a low scoring game here, so Le Havre and under two and a quarter, both very interesting to me. Last but not least, Strasbourg, a quarter goal favorite at home, all the juice on Lyon. Strasbourg did play in the Europa Conference League midweek, where Lyon had a bye in the Europa League, so that was big for them. Total's been getting bet towards under. We've been seeing some money coming in on Lyon. I don't really want to lose them as a road underdog here, so I'm interested, especially, fighting a big crowd, but the nice spot is that they don't have to worry about that match midweek, so that does interest me quite a bit in Lyon on the road. As for my best bet from French Ligue 1. Let's go with Nantes and Le Havre, and we'll go under two and a quarter goals. I think we see that match is a big one in the relegation picture, and I think we see nonstop fighting to keep goals out of the net. So Le Havre under two and a quarter goals. Last but not least, let's get to the German Bundesliga, and then we'll get an ultimate best bet, plug some things, and get the heck out of here. Let's move now to DFB, excuse me, the Deutschland Football League. I guess that's DFL. So we'll go Bayern München hosting Eintracht Frankfurt in a match that probably won't take up too much time on this episode. Eintracht have not defended all season, got their manager sacked, who's I thought really respected. Currently, Eintracht 2.5 goal underdogs right now with all the juice on Bayern. I guess that shouldn't be a surprise. So it's 4.25. She's very heavily to under, but that's moved up from the four. And I think we're going to see Bayern potentially close 3 goal favorites, which is massive against another Champions League side. But welcome to the world, I guess. We'll now move to Union Berlin hosting Bayer Leverkusen. Currently, Union quarter goal underdogs at home with all the juice. Leverkusen coming off Champions League midweek. Totals 2.5 in this one. And it's juiced more to the over, which I think probably reflects more about the Leverkusen defense than it does the offense, because I imagine we might see some weary legs up top. Union are a great underdog. Love them at home. I think I like the side more than I like the total. VfL Wolfsburg then hosts FC Augsburg. Currently, Wolfsburg, a quarter goal favorite at home with almost all the juice right now. We've seen some money coming in initially on Wolfsburg. Now it's coming back on Augsburg. We'll see the total in this one is 2 3/4, and the juice is split both ways. So that's been kind of pump faking around as well. For me, I don't really trust Augsburg to score goals, so I think under is a very big interest for me. Would love to get 3 before kickoff. FC Köln then hosts TSG Hoffenheim. Currently Köln with all the juice right now, half a goal underdogs. Total in this one is 3, just more to the over. Köln are going to try to score goals, as will Hoffenheim, and I don't really want to get in the way of the Hoffenheim missile, which has been crushing it so far this season. RB Leipzig then hosts Borussia Dortmund in the Topspiel, the biggest matchup of the German Bundesliga this weekend, Saturday night. Currently, Leipzig half a goal underdog, half a goal favored right now with all the juice on Dortmund. Total in this one is 3.25, and it's juiced more to the over than the under, probably because these are two good offenses, and we'll see what type of style Dortmund want to play. Do they want to defend? Do they want to go outscore Leipzig? I'm interested in Dortmund as a road underdog. I don't love that they are playing in a really tough place to play in Leipzig, but at this point, I am very interested in Dortmund, and I really like what I've seen from Niko Kovac this season. We knew they were going to be good, Dortmund, as they always are, but he's really put it together better than most managers as of late. 2 matches left to go. We'll go to 3 matches left to go. We'll start with Sportclub Freiburg hosting Borussia Mönchengladbach. Currently, Gladbach a half a goal underdog right now with all the juice. Total is 2.5, and it's juiced more to the over. Freiburg have not looked great in the Bundesliga. It's to be frank this season. I think for that reason, and Gladbach coming off from the bottom of the table when they sacked Joao de Soawane, didn't really seem like a great fit to me there. But they've been great since then. I like the road underdog. Next, we move to St. Pauli hosting Werder Bremen. Currently, St. Pauli a pick'em right now with more juice as a home team. Total is 2.25, and it's used very heavily to under, which is a really low total, 2.25. Tempted to avoid that because it's so low in the German Bundesliga, and there are a lot of goals that are scored. But these are two teams that literally don't have much offense. St. Pauli have not scored goals for 1.5 seasons now, so under 2.25 looks very interesting to me in that one. Last but not least, FC Heidenheim. They are a 3/4 goal underdog at home to Stuttgart. A little bit more juice on the Stuttgart side. Total in this one is 3, and it is juiced more to the over. Which I think this is pretty much a Heidenheim. They need a result here. They need points. They've been fighting relegation for years now. They get Stuttgart coming off of Europa League midweek. It's a really great spot to have them, and we'll see if this number climbs to 1, because at 1, I think I will be in. As for the nominee for the best bet from the German Bundesliga, let's go St. Pauli, Werder Bremen, under 2.25 goals. And that will bring us to the end of this episode. And let's get to the ultimate best bet portion show. I want to shout out my YouTube subscribers. We're up to 249, almost a quarter of 1,000. Only need to get to 1,000 before ad starts. You get a long time. You don't have to worry about that. Probably should have started this episode with the lights on, but it's gotten progressively darker while I've been recording. Thank you all for sticking around. And let's get an ultimate best bet here. I also want to shout out the upcoming Need for Seeds College Basketball podcast with Big East Ben, as always, and a special guest. And you'll see who that is coming up very soon, assuming schedules and promises are kept. From the English Premier League, I like Wolverhampton Wanderers under 2.5 goals. In La Liga in Spain, I like Mallorca under 2.25 goals. In Serie A in Italy, I like Atalanta, a pick'em. In Ligue 1 in France, I like Le Havre, a 2.25 goal under on the road at Nantes. In the German Bundesliga, I like Werder Bremen under 2.25 goals. And for the ultimate best bet on this episode, let's go with where we shall go to a team that can't score goals. It's a very slight favorite at home. That is St. Pauli. So we'll go St. Pauli, Werder Bremen under 2.25 goals in this episode. And we'll see you the Need for Seeds College Basketball podcast coming out very, very soon.